2 minutes for his part,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Okay.
No, it's depends on 2 minutes each.
2 minutes each. Okay. So nice to meet you. I'm glad to be here. Most of you already know me. My name is Bogdan Rogojina, and I'm in charge of PR in the Romania and Bulgaria region on this part of Europe. So I'm gonna tell you a few words about the new Ryzen CPUs. Last year, I remember when we had a presentation with the first generation of Ryzen CPUs, and for me, it's like a really nice time to be with AMD because we finally have the right products for the market, and maybe you've seen that already with your customers. In terms of, I don't know, buying the products and the feedback from the clients, from the gamers, from the, I don't know, content creators and so on. So basically today we'll be discussing about why your clients should buy AMD, what is new with the new second generation Ryzen processors, what are the new technologies and features, and the benefits for your customers. Okay, you know that the Ryzen CPUs were marketed as being great for gaming and as well for productivity. So there has been a lot of discussion around the gaming side of things with the first generation of Ryzen CPUs. There were voices saying that, well, the first generation is not performing so well in games as compared to the competition. And some journalists, for instance, in Romania and Bulgaria as well, said that always AMD is launching what should have launched in the first time, the second generation. So in Romania, someone said to me that this is the generation we should have launched last year. Well, actually, the generation launched last year was a breakthrough in technology because of many things it brought to the market. Aside the performance part of things and I don't know, the technologies that Ryzen CPUs were having on the table. But this year, with the new generation, gamers can benefit from a level of performance that is on par or in some cases even better than the competition. So the new Ryzen series is like really good CPUs for your customer to sell from both sides of things, productivity and gaming. So regarding gaming, you should know that Ryzen cores are available within the console markets like 100%. We are powering Xbox consoles, PlayStation series as well, and the upcoming Atari VCS. Maybe you've heard that Sony has sold 500 million PlayStation boxes in August last month. So this means 500 million Ryzen CPUs within those consoles. I think it's a number. Creators. Well, as long as Apple is integrating Radeon technology within the Apple Pro series of their desktop PCs, this is like great stuff to know. Microsoft, Sony, and HP, and I would add Acer, Lenovo, Dell, are integrating Ryzen CPUs from the second generation in their notebooks. Maybe you've seen the Acer Nitro, which is a really nice notebook, like in looks and feel. It's light and really nice to on the design side. To the largest HD display in Times Square, so AMD is like everywhere we can imagine. We are even delivering CPUs for planes in the Airbus factory in France. So the second generation brings a few new features and some improved features from the previous generation. This is the first 12 nanometer desktop CPUs ever created, and we are facing at the 7 nanometer manufacturing process later this year. It's great for gaming, as we said, and it has higher performance than the previous generation. This comes mainly because of the clocks of the CPU. So we have higher clocks on these CPUs as compared to previous generation. So, what else? We have new braid coolers. Maybe you've seen the one with the RGB LEDs inside the 2700 series, which is really nice, and you can power up some cool PCs with RGB lighting. It's a trend in the industry, so everyone is doing RGB. We've seen from memory to, I don't know, even SSDs that have RGB LEDs within the case. As you've seen during the years, AMD is producing CPUs that are backwards compatible. That means the current Ryzen lineup is compatible with the previous series of motherboards, mainly 300 series, and with the new launch we added the 400 series motherboards to our lineup. So you can choose with your configuration whether you put inside some cheaper model with the 300 series, or you can go with the higher performance configuration with the 400 series. And of course all are unlocked. So the lineup currently looks like this. We have the Ryzen 7 series with 3700X CPUs, 8 core, 16 threads, which goes to 4.3 gigahertz, and the 2700, which delivers quite good performance on the gaming side, I would say. These are a few tests done in comparison with the competition. So things are looking really, really good, better I would say, as compared to last year. You can see that we are on par with the competition on really popular game titles like The Division or Rise of Tomb Raider, and you name it, a lot of games here. On the multi-threading side, you know that Ryzen series of CPUs were performing really, really good against the competition as well. So the Ryzen 2 series is even better. We deliver great performance with multi-threaded environments. So you can, I don't know, stream some gaming online, you can do photo editing, as well as, I don't know, downloading some music or whatever. It works really smooth as compared to competition. The Ryzen 5 lineup looks like this, the 2600X, which is a 6-core, 12-thread CPU that goes up to 4.2, and the other one without the X. If you don't remember what the X means behind the numbering of the CPU, that is for XFR, meaning the CPU can go even farther from 4.2, where the frequency goes a little bit up. It's like 10% more or less with the CPU, and you will learn in the following slides that this can change in terms of performance if you install a better cooling solution. But I will tell you more about that in a minute. So yeah, gaming, it's like the same. We're on par with the competition when it comes to gaming. So if you have clients that were saying, I don't know, 1 year ago that they will go and buy something from the competition because it has higher clocks and it performs better in games, now it's not the case anymore. So we're delivering really good performance on the gaming side as well. Productivity, same stuff as the Ryzen 7 lineup. Okay. So we're doing really good on the multi-tasking applications as well. Okay. A few words about SenseMine, which is like a group of technologies implemented within the Ryzen CPUs that make your CPU run smoother, go cooler, and let's say perform as better as it can get. So, first of all is the XFR that I was telling you about. So the CPU is overclocking itself when the case. So if you are working really hard with your desktop PC and it needs some more performance, it will overclock by himself, so you can get an extra boost of performance. Cooling. As I mentioned already to you, if you are going to install, let's say, a better cooling solution like an air cooler or even a liquid cooling solution, you can get up to 7% more performance. That means if you're going to cool the CPU more, it can go even further with the performance, the frequency, because it will get cooled. StoreMI. Does anyone know about StoreMI? Besides Coder. Okay, so StoreMI, a few words about StoreMI. It's a technology implemented within the Ryzen CPUs that allows you to do the following thing. You can install an SSD, doesn't matter if it's an M2 or a classic SSD, and an HDD, like the ones Remus was talking about earlier. So what Ryzen can do, it's put those drives together. This is the StoreMI technology, and it can act as a single drive, using the SSD for buffering stuff, storing your, I don't know, files that are accessed really, really often, and also put the HDD capacity to your disposal, so you can gain more space within your computer. So it works like a hybrid drive SSD plus HDD, and this is done only on the CPU. Okay, cool and quiet system, it's about a technology called pure power, which has a lot of sensors within the CPU that monitors temperature within the cores, and it adapts your CPU frequency and the way it works, so it gets cooler when you don't use it or you don't need it, and it turns, I don't know, the fan even faster when you're working hard on your computer. What can it can do for your customer? Well, there are a lot of things. First of all, the gaming part, because this was a hot topic with the Ryzen CPU. So with the second generation Ryzen CPUs, you can be sure that your client has the best performance within the price range when using a Ryzen CPU from the second generation, as well as the part for gaming AAA titles, which gamers nowadays tend to play really, really hard. So taking apart the esports market, which doesn't need that much performance, there are a lot of players who want to play in 4K resolutions, like the latest titles of games. And the new second generation Ryzen can support that for your customer. What else? Multitasking. Well, we've discussed this with our Ryzen 7 and Ryzen 5 CPUs. Have you ever tried to test some multitasking capabilities on the Ryzen PC? Anyone? Did you encounter any, let's say, issues, or maybe did you enjoy the experience working with the Ryzen CPUs? Anyone? No? You're not selling AMD? Why not? You will. Because there's a, well, we will discuss about it in a couple of minutes. There's a situation, and maybe you've told them already. Yeah. I got some Bulgarian.
Anyway, you
okay.
can also.
Well, I won't repeat anything. Yeah. Well, intelligent computing, it's about how the Ryzen CPU works, because it has a lot of sensors, and it's like an intelligent machine adapting to your needs. When you need extra performance, it knows what it has to do. When you don't use it, or you need only part of it running faster, he knows to adapt on what you're doing. There's another set of technology, but I won't go into that, like smart prefetch. And but if you want, we can discuss like during breaks or in the evening when having a couple of beers. Okay, powerful performance, as we've already discussed about. So key takeaways for you and your clients, it's definitely about gaming and graphics performance, because the second generation Ryzen CPUs delivers that. multitasking and the part of creators, where these CPUs can actually deliver to your customers, even if we're talking about editing videos or creating videos, render 3D images, or all that professional stuff. And of course, optimizing performance for the user. This was my presentation. I have a couple of slides I want to mention to you. This is a hot topic, and it won't take more than 1-2 minutes. I have brought with me a Threadripper system, which you can check. Let's say, start. Oh, sorry. Which you can check on the demo. In the demo corner, starting tomorrow morning. So the Threadripper CPU, have you heard about Threadripper? I suppose yes.
Yes.
Okay, so the Threadripper CPUs are now within the 2nd generation with the new Ryzen Zen Plus cores. So this one is like opening a new perspective for prosumers users. So it goes right in between servers, which Radu will go through in a minute, and consumer products. Sorry?
1 minute?
1 minute. I'll be sure. Yeah, this processor is for content creators. It's a dedicated product for those who need a powerful workstation. The system I was telling you about is equipped with the 2990WX, which is a 32-core, 64-thread CPU. It's more like server-grade CPU, and you can check it working starting tomorrow morning here in the demo area. There's another version of 24 cores and 48 threads, 2970WX, which will launch in October 29th. This one is available on the market, so you can, I think you can buy it from Asbis. I don't know if it's on stock or not, but you can order it. I won't go through performance. It's well, without losing the modesty, it's like the best product on the market within this segment. It has no competitor, and you can ask anyone you like. And the X series, which is like below the WX, these are 16 cores, 32 thread CPUs, the 2950X, and it has a lower price, and the 2920X, which is 12 core, 24 threads. This one is available on the market along with the 2990W, and this one will launch together with the other one with the 24 cores in October. Okay, I'm done. If you have questions, okay.
It's not a question, you should mention the new feature on the Ryzen. They're much cheaper right now.
Okay, yeah. So, okay, I'll go through it. You know, there's a shortage with the Intel CPUs. Because of the shortage, prices on the Intel CPUs are going up. It's natural stuff, because if you don't prefer having an empty market with products rather than having some products but with bigger prices that are still on shelf. Thing is, within the next, let's say, 5 to 8 months, availability will be really, really low. So on the business side, regardless me doing work for AMD, you should consider buying Ryzen CPUs or putting your computers or your business on spot with the competitor of Intel, because you won't be able to get CPUs because they won't have it. This is the reality, and you should, let's say, position yourself and your customers within this direction. I don't know, if they prefer paying more for the same or for less in some cases, that's okay. But you should prepare, you and your business, for the what's coming in the next 6 months. Thing is, they will move the manufacturing process within TSMC, which is the manufacturing facility, and this usually takes no less than 5 to 6 months until they will start producing something, because the factories are working on a continuous flow. They can't interrupt the manufacturing process and put AMD or Intel or, I don't know, Apple in the line. So think about it, and I will leave it out to you.
Okay, thank you.
Anyways, I will be here until Sunday, so anything you need to know, just come and ask me. There you go.
Okay. Hello. I'm about to start right now. I am a new employee of Asbis, Asbis Enterprise, and I am here to help you and help Asbis in the same time enable the sales of AMD servers. I'm a BDM, a business development manager. That means I have the liberty to go to customers together with Asbis people, to go to customers together with Asbis partners. So I'm here because of this guy. This is the new Epic CPU. It's a server CPU, and compared to the Ryzen processors, he is at the first generation. The second generation is in the labs, and it will come next year to production. Okay. Who here has heard something about Epic? You know them. Okay.
Talk to me.
Then I will jump directly into the benefits, and it won't take very long. They are simple. It's about industry-leading core density, memory, input-output capacity. We'll talk about it in a bit. We have a leadership, a technical leadership on two-socket performance, and what I want to point, it's an unprecedented single-socket capability in this type of CPU, and we'll see in the slides that will follow. Unique security capabilities and the long-term server roadmap, which wasn't right there with the AMD server CPUs until now. And the proof is the fact that the 7 nanometer type of Epic is in the labs right now, and probably in the next year will be launched. The highlights: 32 sockets, 32 cores per socket is the maximum, but there are also 24, 16 and 8 cores per socket versions, of course with double the threads, so 64 threads is the maximum. The highest input-output capacity, these CPUs can hold up to 128 PCI Express Generation 3 lanes in a single CPU. That means that you can use them for networking, you can use them for AI to put there some GPUs, you can use them for storage, for hard drives, for SSDs, for NVMEs. It's a very large number of PCI Express lanes, 8 memory channels per CPU, and up to 2 terabytes per socket. This is huge. It's the richest memory density in the market right now, and that's why I'm saying it's a technology leadership. Now, coming up to the lineup, for starters, it's very simple. All the lineup has the same features as memory. What type of memory can be put in there? except this small one, the cheapest one, which has only support for 2400 memory. 2 terabytes memory capacity per CPU, 128 lanes, turbo boost and SMT. All features for all the CPUs. The differentiators are on cores, on frequency, and cache, and some other small features. But the big features are the same on the whole line. Now, another thing that I have to put to your attention is this part. It's the one socket only lineup, which is practically the same as the 2 socket lineup, but with a decrease in price with 30 to 40%. So, as you can see, AMD is pushing by price the single socket platforms, and there, as you will see, there are very high differences versus the competition. The pricing is AMD pricing based on 1K deals, so don't rely on it. But these are the somehow the let's say ranges in which these CPUs are going for. Leadership for 2 sockets, very important. There were tests made with spec FP and spec 2006 and 2017. The results, 14% more cores. It's normal because the specifications are like this. 33% more memory bandwidth, 2.6x memory capacity. But the most important thing is the 2.6x more performance per dollar. This is the most important thing for the data center, for the cloud service provider, which want to take more out of a smaller density of servers. Most important part, if you compare one socket EPIC with 2 sockets from the competition, you'll get still 33% more cores, 33% more memory capacity, and 37% more performance per dollar. It's the type of usage that has begun to be utilized by more and more data centers. The mega data centers are all working with this type of CPU. Talking about Azure, there are public statements from Dropbox, for example, but they all work in until some extent with this type of CPU and this type of server type. So, no compromise single socket server, better efficiency, it's optimized for value and for workloads. More important, we have Asbis support. Okay, Asbis can support with knowledge, pre-sale support, sampling support. You can come to your Asbis representative. They will come to me. I will put a request to AMD and get the samples as quick as I can. Of course, it's based on a business case, but this is the normal way. There is pricing support for project, of course. There are platforms which are distributed by Asbis. Supermicro, Taiwan, and Gigabyte, they are all making and manufacturing platforms for this type of server. It's your choice. What is more, I don't know, the more appealing to you, or which has the best specifications for your needs. There is an integration and assembly support. As Asbis can deliver complete server on customer specifications, and sometimes marketing support.
Don't look at me.
Okay. It's based on business case. We have the assets that we can share to be put on the site and so on. And Bogdan promised he will help with
With the money.
with some time.
Well, actually, Remus has a lot of money as per his presentation earlier. So.
Yes. For 20 minutes, what? 20 minutes delay? What? Yes. Okay. Talking about Remus' presentation, he also demonstrated with numbers that enterprise is going up, and it will eat a lot of the market that is addressed right now by you, and more and more data centers, cloud service provider will appear. At some point, they will want, as he was saying, to do the processing locally. So then one option is Intel, which for 4 years, 5 years, he has done anything in this market, but now there is an alternative. There is an alternative in this part. There is an alternative which has very good price, very good performance, very good specifications in terms of input, output, PCI Express lanes, power, and so on. And there is an alternative that has a very good price for now. And I want to mention a very solid roadmap. Yeah, we have already the information that the second generation of these ones will have will be backwards compatible, so they will be able to be put on the same platforms. So when they will appear, the customers can just update the BIOS, switch to the new CPU, and then just go ahead. Okay. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you.